So, what really makes a great teacher? I mean, is it just about cramming facts into our heads? Or is there, something more to it? Well, today, we're going to climb what's called the ladder of learning to figure that out. We'll unpack everything from basic memorization all the way up to, well, how you foster real genius. And this quote from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, it just nails it, doesn't it? He's saying it's not about being a walking encyclopedia. No, it's about building the spirit of inquiry, creativity. It's about lighting a fire. And you know what? That's exactly what we're going to see as we start climbing this ladder. Okay, so before we can even talk about effective teaching, we got to ask a really basic question. Who's running the show in the classroom? And believe me, the answer to that has completely changed over the years. So you've got these two big ideas, right? On one side, there's pedagogy. That's your classic teacher-centered classroom. Picture it. The teacher is up front, the expert, just pouring knowledge into everyone. You're just there to soak it up. But then on the other side, you've got andragogy. And this totally flips the script. It's learner-centered. The student is an active participant, and the teacher, they're more like a guide on the side. This whole shift is the foundation for everything we're about to talk about. All right, let's start our climb. First rung on the ladder, it's all about building memory. So this first level is called the memory level of teaching, or MLT for short. And yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. Pure memorization. Think flashcards for a vocabulary test, drilling your multiplication tables, reciting dates in history class. The goal is super simple. Just get the info in your brain so you can spit it back out later. And the source material has a pretty blunt way of describing this. It's the least thoughtful stage. And yeah, you can see why, right? It's kind of like an assembly line for facts, just dropping them into your brain without worrying about how they all connect. It's 100% about recall, not really getting it. And in this kind of classroom, the teacher is the boss, the absolute authority. The student's job is basically to be a sponge and memorize. And the tests, they're just designed to see if you memorized it, which of course just reinforces that whole cycle of rote learning. Okay, so we've got the facts down. Now, let's climb to the next level. We're moving past just memorizing stuff and into something way deeper, actual understanding. This is the understanding level of teaching, ULT. And the key phrase here is memory plus insight. See, it's not enough to just know the facts anymore. Now you have to understand the why behind them. What are the principles? How do things connect? What's the big picture here? So, remember how the first level was least thoughtful? Well, this one is simply thoughtful. That's a huge leap, right? Now students are actually thinking about what they're learning, not just parroting it back. And this is where you really see the student's role change. You're not just a passive bucket for information anymore. Now you're actively analyzing things, making connections. That aha moment? That feeling when a new idea suddenly clicks with something you already learned? Yeah, that's the understanding level right there. All right, we're heading for the top, the highest rung of the ladder. This is where knowledge stops being something you just have and starts being something you can actually use. This is all about true reflection. I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to get a concept in a textbook, but how do you take that knowledge and use it to solve the messy, complicated problems out there in the real world? Well, the answer is what we call the reflective level of teaching, or RLT. This is the top dog, the most practical kind of learning there is. They also call it the introspective level because it forces you to look inward, think deep, and figure out how to apply what you know to solve real, tricky situations. And there it is. We're at the top. We went from least thoughtful to thoughtful, and now we've reached the most thoughtful level. This is where learning really, truly gets real. Just look at how different the classroom is now. The student is front and center. The whole vibe is open, independent. It's all about sparking original thought. And the teacher? They're not a dictator anymore. They're a facilitator, a guide, helping students figure things out on their own terms. Okay, so we've climbed the ladder: memory, understanding, reflection. But how do teachers actually do this? How do they help students make that climb? Well, let's peek inside the modern teacher's toolkit. First up, you've got your teacher-centered tools. You know this one, the classic sage on the stage. The teacher is the expert, standing at the front, dropping knowledge bombs. And I bet you'll recognize these. We're talking lectures, team teaching, even just watching a video. And look, these are great for those first couple of rungs, memory and understanding, because they're a super efficient way to get a lot of information out there. But then you have the other side of the coin, learner-centered tools. And here, the teacher's role completely changes. They're not the sage on the stage anymore. Now, they're the guide on the side, helping you find your own way instead of telling you where to go. These methods, they put you, the student, in the driver's seat. And they are perfect for hitting that top level, the reflective level. Things like project work, digging into a case study, or running a simulation. They all force you to actually use your knowledge to solve problems. It's all about participation and discovery. So we've climbed the ladder. We've seen this big shift from the teacher calling all the shots to the student taking the lead. But so what? Why does any of this actually matter? Because this is what real learning is all about. It's a journey, right? You start with memory, just learning the what. Then you climb up to understanding, to figure out the why. And finally, you get to reflection, where you master the how. How to actually take what you know and do something meaningful with it in the world. Which leaves us with one last big question to think about. What's the real point of all this? Is it to fill our minds up with facts, like we're just empty buckets? Or is it to build an engine inside our heads, one that can think for itself?